Eric, from a investor to a founder and starting a company, what would you say are kind of the biggest eye-opening experiences that you thought one way but you learned another way? Because I think now you probably have a lot more empathy for
Yeah,
other founders than perhaps as an investor.
for sure, for sure. I would say before I was an investor, I spent majority of my career, more than 80 years as an engineer. So deep down in my heart, I'm still a builder, engineer.
Yeah.
One thing I learned during this startup journey is I should start I should start early with sales, channels, marketing rather than building a product. That is one mistake I made. So as we spend early days, we spend a lot of time refining our product without thinking about channels, go to market. And I think that's one thing I made a mistake as a first-time founder. As a VC, especially I was investing in A round to C round. Usually the company has already figured out their go-to-market strategy, have already found out their perfect market fit. So when I become a founder, I kind of have to deal from the very beginning, right?
Yeah.
From the very zero to one. So when I'm making investment, I usually already see a company as is being 1 to 100. So when I deal with 1 to 0, I focus too much on building a product rather than go-to-market, sales, marketing. Yeah,
Yeah.
I do it again, I probably will balance a little bit between building a product and go-to-market.
Well, it's interesting you mention it, and perhaps you're aware of kind of the HubSpot story. For the first, I don't know, several years of HubSpot's existence, they were a blog. They didn't have a product. They weren't selling anything. They were a blog, and I remember it back in the day because I used to be in internet marketing sales. God, years and years ago. I don't want to date myself too much, but call it almost 15 years ago. And I remember reading that blog and be like, this is fantastic information. No one knows about SEO or pay-per-click or all this stuff. And HubSpot's just freely publishing all this information, and is really fascinating because that's how they started figuring out their market, what they want to build, what they are going to build. So, Eric, I think that's really enlightening for individuals. Going from 0 to 1 is incredibly hard.
Yeah.
Like incredibly hard if you're a product company. As they say in professional services, it's easy to get started, harder to scale, versus products, harder to get started, easier to scale. So it's like, both ways.
Yeah, it's a trade-off.
It's a trade-off. And I think a lot of people also forget in the professional services world, your largest companies in the world, the Deloittes, the Accentures, they're all professional service organizations. Like they're still great business models in the end, but I think you really kind of nailed it. And perhaps your product can help. I'm sure you used your product in the beginning, as they say, eat your own dog food, I guess, to help you identify that go-to-market. So essentially, your advice for other entrepreneurs who are maybe starting a company is that 0 to 1. What is your GTM? Focus on your marketing, focus on your sales, perhaps focus on a niche that you can dominate before expanding outwards, which I think is great advice.